Hello everyone, this is Silvio with Business Central Musings, where we share Business Central tips. Today is a big day. We had the launching event for Business Central 2024 Wave 1, and while watching the event, I saw that there are a few very cool things and that will be introduced with this version, and I want to talk about Business Central 2024 data analysis plus Copilot today. Starting from the previous version, Microsoft introduced Copilot, but this is the first version where Copilot is used in relation to the data analysis mode. The video will have a few parts, and we're going to start with okay, you're new to Business Central, you don't have a tenant, you don't have a way to test it. What do you do? But it sounds very cool to you, or you want to start with Business Central. How do you do it? You can Google on or on Bing. You can search for a Business Central trial. We're gonna see through the video the page where you can start from, or the other option is if you're more inclined, you can use Docker and Business Central containers. I don't have a video on that. I have a few blog posts about working with containers in Business Central, but maybe I'll create one video to show you how to create your Business Central 2024 container. And the next thing I'm going to cover is about Admin Center. Starting yesterday, March 3rd or March 2nd, we can now create a sandbox based on Business Central 2024 Wave 1. And we're going to continue into looking at how data analysis mode changed from version 23.5 to 24.0. And we'll also look at the emergence of Copilot around this topic about the data analysis, the usage of data analysis mode in client, and we're going to end up with looking at how the pages based on queries look like in 23.5 and 24.0. Let's get going. Hello everyone, today's video is about using Copilot in building data analysis tabs in Business Central. I would suggest to create a Business Central sandbox loaded with version 24. To do that, you would have to first of all have a tenant, and if you don't have your own tenant, then you can try Business Central for 30 days. This is where you would go. You would go to dynamics.microsoft.com, ENUS Dynamics 365 free trial. This is for US. I am not sure how to get Business Central trial for, let's say, for Spain, but let's try it out. So in Bing, I would search for Business Central trial Spain, for example, and I would look at one of the first few links in sign up for a free trial. This is coming up with the same link because I'm located in the United States right now, but I'm pretty sure when you go on your browser and you search for Business Central free trial, you would have a link to try it out, to try Business Central app for 30 days. And then when that 30 days is done, you can still extend it for 30 more days, if I recall. Yes, so anyways, try it out if you don't have an environment. The other option is to download, install and download Docker, and there are a few good Docker specialists, Business Central container specialists out there on Google. I might create a video on how to create your Business Central container, but today I want to focus more on how to get your Business Central in your tenant, Business Central 2024 Wave 1. So once you're in your Business Central Admin Center, you click on New, and looks like my session expired. Let's refresh it. You click on New, and you type in the environment name, you select the type Sandbox, you select your country, and then from the drop down here you're going to select the version for version 24. And as you can see, version 24 comes up immediately. I do have my own version 24 here, so I won't bring it up. I actually have two sandboxes, one based on 23.5 and one based on 24. I keep them both, and I want to show you the differences between them. In terms of data analysis and the emergence of Copilot in Business Central, Copilot used in relation to the data analysis mode. So let's get going. I would remind you that in version 23, so this is dev and this is dev 24. Dev is 23.5 and dev 24 is obviously version 24. We had this radio button here, the toggle, the analyze toggle, whereas in version 24 there is no toggle here, as you can see. But what we've got is actually a button, an action button, and the tooltip is enter analysis mode. I guess real estate is expensive, including Business Central browser real estate, so that's gonna make more room for other things on the ribbon here, or on the action bar. There is also an action menu for Copilot, and we can see in version 24 analyze list and showing page. If we click on showing page, we can see here at the bottom, or sometimes it's coming a bit higher. I think it's because I'm recording, it's going to the bottom. Yeah, so as you saw, analyze list, I selected showing page, and now it shows there at the bottom. If I deselect it, it disappears. If I click on analyze list, Copilot is opening up, and yes, we can now start entering natural language sentences, and Copilot will set up the analysis page according to what we sent here, or what we write here. And to get started with what you write, with what you can pass to the Copilot, you can click on this prompt guide, and if you click on the prompt guide, you see here add structure, sort and filter, adjust layout. If we look at the adjust layout, we can see that we can freeze the column, we can remove fields with dates, we can rename tab to new title. So these are just examples. Remove fields with dates is just an example. You can specify the name of the field, or just remove fields with dates if you don't want to see any dates. And you can also rename the tab to something that you want. And then sort and filter, we can sort on one of the analysis columns. We can filter by a field. So let's say maybe if you're on a customers list, you can say filter by balance greater than $1,000. Filter out any item with name containing, and you can specify a mask what items you want to not include in the analysis. Show only transaction from last 3 weeks. Again, this is about filtering. How would you do that if you had if you were on the item ledger entries, which is where I am? Show only transaction from last 3 weeks. You would have to go into the go and filter the posting date. You calculate when was 3 weeks ago, and you add the 2 dots to specify that there is no upper range limit for posting date. So that's sort and filter. Add structure. What we had in the row groups, now we can just say group by, and we mention the name of the table. Show average cost per category. This is a way to specify what type of function I want to use for accumulating data, like a sum or average or mean or max. So this would be we'll start with the word show, and we would specify the name of the column and the function that we want to use. Put on salesperson, then sales. This is for columns grouping. We want to sometimes pivot by a certain column, and we can do that with pivot on. So I'm going to look at what I had in 23.5 on the analysis mode for item ledger entries, and let's try it out. So for example, here I have items received from vendors. I can see that the grouping is by the item, and then I see the vendor number, and I see the sum of all the 1896 yes that entered in my warehouse, and I can see the same for vendor 20,000 and then 30,000 and so on. So when we look at how this analysis was built on row groups by item number, the values that were accumulated were for quantity, and we use sum, and the column label, which is triggered and enabled when we switch to pivot mode, is the source number, which in our case is going to be for source type vendor, and we can see that is the source type vendor. If we switch to the analysis filter, we see the source type being selected as vendor. And let's try to build this in Business Central. So with Copilot. So I would say filter by source type equal vendor, and that's for filtering. And then the grouping is by item number. Group by item number, and we want to calculate and show the sum of the quantities. Show sum of quantity, and the last thing we want to determine, we want to set up is the pivot for source number. And let's see what Copilot can do. After a few seconds, while the Copilot is parsing the prompt, we can see we are getting something that looks very close to what we've got in version 23.5 here, except that the Copilot added the row group by item number and source type, which we might not really need it. But if we look at the filters, we do see the filter here being used. And yes, that's one example. We kind of clicked around and we saved. I think we decided to keep the result of the prompt. If we switch back to the list mode and switch back to the analysis mode, we see the analysis was saved and was named vendor items by source. Let's try another one. Let's try items shipped to customer. Again, is the same thing, and the analysis is on source type customer. So let's try it here. We're gonna use this create new analysis and filter by source type equal customer, group by item no, show sum of quantity, pivot for source number. And if we look at the other prompt guides, the other prompts that we can use, we see maybe rename tab 2. Also rename tab to tab 2. And let's generate. And as you can see, we have it renamed tab 2. We see the item number here. We see the source number. We also see the filtering went fine. We have it customer. So it's all looking good. Let me remind everybody here that the way to show the result set of a query is by typing in the URL query equal and the number of the query. Query 103 is the sales dashboard. If you don't have a trigger in the menu, you can like an action in the menu, you can trigger it by changing the URL to include the word query and equal and the number of the query. And this is how it looks like in 23.5. Again, is the radio button. Let's see it here in 24. We see here that the the toggle, analyze mode toggle was replaced with this action button, and yeah, we don't have the Copilot here. It's probably going to come a bit later, but yes, that is all I wanted to share about Copilot in relation to the data analysis mode in Business Central 2024 Wave 1. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.